population attributes. In population attributes, the things which are going to influence the increase or decrease of the population, we can say population attributes. A population has certain attributes that an individual organism does not exhibit these particular things. Whereas population attributes is a group of population only, can be a group of species can be when we call population. And population is having these particular properties. Individually, a single organism don't have these kind of properties. Then let's start the properties here. The natality and mortality, immigration and emigration, sex ratio, age distribution, population density. So we already completed the natality and mortality, but let's take a look back again that we said the natality, which means birth rate. Natality means birth rate and mortality means death rate. Let's take a short look on this particular area. Natality, we said birth rate, then mortality means death rate. So an individual may have birth and death, but population has birth rate and death rate. An individual will have a birth and death, not birth rate. Okay, so a group will have birth rate and a death rate. Natality, what is natality? Is the number of new individuals produced in a unit time per unit population. Mortality, mortality is the number of deaths that occurred in a unit time per unit population. So in a population, these rates refer to per capita, per individual, we can say. These populations refers to per capita or per individual, we can say here, per capita or per individuals. Okay. So births and deaths in a population, the rates refer to per capita births. In a population, these rates refer to per capita deaths. The rate refers to rate. What is the meaning of rate? Rate to change in numbers, increase or decrease with respect to the members of the population in unit time. And we are taken examples. What are the examples taken over in a population of 20 frogs last year? Through reproduction, 8 new frogs are added. So we calculated the birth rate like this 8 by 20 as 0.4 we get. The birth rate B equal to like this. And death rate, that I text the question here, in a population, the 4 individuals in a laboratory population of the fruit flies died during a specified time interval, say a week. The death rate in the population during that period, we calculated in the form of 4 by 40. 4 by 40. We calculated like this and we got the answer 0.1. And after that, I said over intrinsic rate of natural increase. Intrinsic rate of natural increase means that R equal to intrinsic rate of natural increase can be measured in the form of R, intrinsic rate of natural increase of a population, of a country, of a state, whatever it is. That can be measured like this, R equal to B minus D, birth rate minus death rate. Okay, R equal to B minus D, birth rate minus death rate, R equal to B minus D. For example, the problem which we have taken yesterday is if 100 individuals are present, 20 new births are there and 10 deaths are there. Births are 20 and deaths are 10. Okay, so we should not minus here. First of all, birth rate, births are 20. So how to find out the birth rate? That total population 100. So how we are calculating that? 20 by 100. 20 by 100. So what will come here? I think this is the problem I gave in the earlier class, 20 by 100. So what will come here?
0.2.
Oh, okay, very good. So 1 by 5 will come here. Then when we do division, 1 by 5, 0.2. So what we got here, B equal to 0.2. So this is not B, this is births. And this is deaths. Okay, death rate. How to find out the death rate? 10 by 100. So what will come?
0.1.
0.1. Very good. Now that we can say like this, R equal to 0.1. R equal to 0.1. That means R, intrinsic rate of natural increase, R equal to B minus D. Here only we are saying that intrinsic rate of natural increase problems are there. Here only we are doing. So that means you'll understand here if I say like this, that population rate wise, they are given some calculations itself. The calculations will get directly for us. For example, if I say the intrinsic rate of natural increase of the R value, that for the Norway rat, R equal to, for Norway rat, in case of Norway rat, Norway means for individual populations, we are doing this kind of calculation. So you will understand what I am saying exactly. What is intrinsic rate of natural increase? You will understand. Norway rat is intrinsic rate of Norway rat is 0.015. Okay, so one more example we have from the textbook. Floor beetle. Floor beetle is 0.12. So how does that 1-2 will come? That you'll understand now. Because we did birth rate and death rate, if you know, that we can make it out. So about human being, the human population in India is given as human population in India. That R value, human population in India, R value is 0.0205. These are questions actually. But what exactly these are, that I'm saying now. That is intrinsic rate of natural increase. Intrinsic rate of natural increase. R equal to 0.015 for Norway rat, floor beetle 0.12 in human in India. Human population in 2001, 1981, that the R value of the India, in India, human population is intrinsic rate of natural increase is 0.0205. So that I hope you understand, along with natality and mortality, that intrinsic rate of natural increase also. So R in this equation, what do you call R? Means intrinsic rate of natural increase, and a very important parameter chosen for assessing the impacts of any biotic or abiotic factor in a population growth. So to give you some idea, yes, we made some R values here. Norway rat 0.015, floor beetle 0.12, human 0.0205. Okay, so that's it about the natality and mortality. Along with natality and mortality, I took the chance here to explain intrinsic rate of natural increase also here only. Okay, now let me go with the second attribute here. Second attribute in the which influence the population. We said there are 5 attributes are there which are influencing the population: immigration, emigration, immigration and emigration. Immigration, do you have an idea? Just an English word, immigration, immigrants, we use it to say. What is immigration? If anybody comes from other country and settle here, what do you call them as?
Migrants.
Migration.
Migrants, okay. Migration is of 2 types: immigration and emigration. You have to choose from this given 2: immigration or emigration. Immigration, emigration, you should have need to understand in that particular. In they are coming here means
Immigrants.
into our country. Somebody entered and settled here. What do you call? Immigrants. Those are
Immigrants.
going out, we call them as emigrants. Emigration, going out, emigration. Coming in, immigration. So this is the basic thing you should learn over. Okay, so immigration, let's see the immigration. What is immigration? Immigration means coming in. Immigration is the number of individuals of the same species that have come into the habitat or population from elsewhere. Somewhere else they came here, another population, during time period under consideration. Immigration contributes to increase or decrease in the population size. When somebody comes in, that what happens, our population will increase or decrease?
Increase.
Yeah, definitely it will increase. Okay, now let's talk about emigration. Emigration. So simply remember this box and arrow mark outside. Going out. Emigration is the number of individuals of population which left the habitat or population and gone elsewhere during the time period under consideration. Due to allow immigration, what happens to the population size? Increases or decreases?
Decreases.
Decreases.
Increases or decreases?
Decreases.
Decreases.
Yeah, very good. So with due respect this, we learn natality and mortality. We learn immigration and emigration. With due respect to this, let us try to understand population growth here. Population growth, the factors which are influencing the population growth, that let us try to understand. Okay, so I am writing here a population density inside in the box, population density. So how does the population density expect what happens to the population density by the four factors: natality, mortality, and immigration and emigration? Then these four factors, how do they influence? So I am putting two arrow marks, means the factors which increases the population. You have to say now. We have four options: natality, mortality, immigration, emigration. Among them, you select two which increases the population density.
Natality and immigration.
Very good. Natality and immigration, which is a regular question, this one actually. Natality and immigration are increasing the population. Okay, natality, I'm writing immigration. So if I want to write emigration, how does the arrow mark should be?
Outside.
Outside.
Yeah, outside. The two factors, what are they? Which are decreasing the population. What are they?
Mortality and
Mortality and
Mortality,
emigration.
mortality and emigration.
Emigration.
Mortality and emigration. Okay. Mortality and emigration. So this is a bigger box in textbook we'll find here. So that means how to calculate next year population. Means next year or next 10 years or likewise, whatever. How to calculate this? Means if you say current time as NT, if the current time is NT, so NT plus 1 means in a given time T, that plus 1 means future population can be written like this. First of all, we should write the current population NT, and plus B plus D and minus D plus E. So watch the statement, which is correct or wrong. You'll find four options like this in examination. Next, I am writing one more statement. NT plus 1 equal to NT current population plus B plus I minus D plus E. Choose the option.
second option.
Second option, so no need to go for third option. What's wrong here in this population? Is the bigger letters I drawn. B plus D, how can be? Birth rate and plus death rate, it can't be. So B plus D, it's wrong. So what we have to do? B plus, who influences the population size in increasing measure? B plus I. Birth rate and immigration adds minus death rate immigration. So if you want to explain here, we'll simply explain what is the current population is 1000 NT, current population is 1000, we can say. Okay, what about next year population, sir? Okay, how many births are there? That I'll give the number. How many births? B. How many deaths are there? That I have to delete the number. Then how many immigrations are there? That I have to show the immigrations. Then that means adding here. Okay, how many immigrations are there? That deaths and immigration should minus, and births and immigration should plus. That is the logic here. NT plus 1 equal to NT current population 1000 plus B plus I immigrants minus D plus E. Very simple, but is a regular question, this one. Okay, so we should add birth and immigrants, and minus we need to delete. That means minus, we should subtract the death rates and deaths and emigration. So this is the population growth we can say here. The size of population for any species. This is given in a separate heading under heading called population growth. So along with the basics, I am going with the applications also here. Along with the basis, population growth under heading population growth, it was given like that. The size of a population for any species is not a static parameter. It keeps changing in time depending on the various factors, including availability of food, predation, pressure, and environmental resistance. As usual, they are present. But these changes in population density provide information whether it is flourishing or declining, whether it is increasing population or decreasing population. So, whatever might be the ultimate reasons, the density of a population in a given habitat during a given period fluctuates due to changes in four basic processes. What are they? Natality and immigration. Natality, births, and immigration. Then that how do they influence the population? They increases the population. Okay, these two increases the population. Natality and immigration increases the population. Okay. Next, the two more factors that deaths and mortality, deaths and emigration. These two are going to be decrease the population. In equation format, we can show like this, that if n is the population density at a time given t, population density at given time t is nt, that its density at the time t plus 1, nt plus 1, that means next future population will be nt plus b plus I minus d plus e. Okay, so for example, let us apply some here. Some mortality, 100 deaths are there, and immigration, that sorry, we wrote here immigration, making some change here. Immigration, some 200 are going out here, deaths 100, 200 are going out next year. Okay, then only 10 births are there, and only 10 people came inside. So what is the future of this population? Will increase or decrease? By looking
Decrease.
toward this, we can say immediately, definitely it will decrease. How it will be calculated over current population is 1000. Okay, then births 10, that immigration 10 minus deaths 100 plus immigration 200. Okay, so let us see what happened. 10 plus 10, 20,000 plus 20 minus 300. Okay, so what will be the final number?
720. 78.
720. What happened next year? Population decrease or increase?
Decreases.
Population is getting
Increases.
decreased. That's it. So that to understand, we just made this problem here. Chalo, let's. This is all about the population growth and the related problems. Let's stick on to our population attributes here. Let us go for our population attributes as usual. Let's go back. We just talk about natality and mortality. I said there are 5 population attributes. We discussed the natality and mortality and immigration and emigration. Based on the natality and mortality, I explained intrinsic rate of natural increase. After the completion of immigration and emigration, I just explained a population growth equation which is shown in the text here. Okay, now let's go to the third attribute of population, that is sex ratio. Sex ratio. Sex ratio is also going to influence that ratio between the male and female. Simply we can say the ratio between the male and female in a population, we can say sex ratio. Do it influence the population? Definitely. That sex ratio is one of the another characteristic feature which is going to influence the growth of a population. We can say an individual either male or female, but a population has a sex ratio. For example, if 60% males and so 40% female, when we are saying about a population, that we can say this is the ratio. What is the ratio? What is the ratio of this population? 3:2.
3:2.
Okay, so this is dangerous, we can say here. In a population, 90% male and 10% female are present. What happens to that population? Will increase or decrease?
Decrease.
Yeah, definitely
Decreases.
that population is going to decrease. So that means here we can say sex ratio is also going to be a deciding factor here. And now we are entering into the fourth attribute of the population, which is very, very, very important here. Age distribution. Age distribution, the very, very, very important attribute here. Age distribution. Okay. So for that, we need to know three kinds of age groups. Post-reproductive age group. Reproductive age group. Reproductive age group, post-reproductive age groups, reproductive age group, and pre-reproductive age group. There are basically, we are classifying that age groups of the population as three: pre-reproductive, reproductive, and post-reproductive. In general terms, we can say these people as young and middle age and old age. Likewise, young age, middle age, and old age. We can say here these people that let us give some alphabets also for them to for easy understanding here. First, pre-reproductive age group A, then reproductive age group B, then post-reproductive age group C. Pre-reproductive, reproductive, and post-reproductive age group. Okay, so then pre-reproductive means engage. You need to understand children. Reproductive age group means working people, middle-aged people, those who are going to be improvising the economy of the country. That we'll discuss. Post-reproductive age group, old age, retired people, we can say. Okay, so how does the country economy is affected? That also we have to discuss here. Based on these, we can say there are three types of populations here: growing population, stable population, and declining population. Growing population, stable population, and declining population. There are three types of populations can be seen over. Actually, in the textbook, it is not like this. The shapes actually I'm drawing here because which is very famous in questions format. That's why I'm making this particular shapes. That there are three shapes can be seen over. Okay, the textbook is given just all the populations as a pyramid, like you can apply there no matter. Growing population, stable population, and declining population. We use it to say, first of all, let me write the shapes here: bell shape, pyramid shape, and un shape. Un shape means is just like that reverse part. We can say bell means temple bell like. Here, this is look like temple bell. You should feel like so. They said you should feel. Okay, means here this kind of bell might have seen over in temples like this. So in that way, they might have said over. You don't know, but this is famous saying that we can say that bell shape. Okay, so bell shaped population, we can say. Okay, so now let's go for this. That what is given? There are three types of populations. They said to be. One is stable population. Wait here, little confusion can be seen over, but let me explain. Stable population, growing population, and growing population, stable population, and declining population. Means here we are trying to show that whole world population, different countries population in one place. We are categorizing like this. We are fixing frames. Growing population. What is growing population? In case of growing population, pre-reproductive age group is going to be more than after reproductive age group. Very less are going to be post-reproductive age group people. Okay. In case of stable population, it's there in the name. Almost all the populations are going to be equal in size. Declining, that means decreasing population. This is the decreasing population. Here, pre-reproductive age group is very less, then reproductive age group, old age people are going to be maximum in this population. Okay, so this is the criteria which we can say here. So this is the criteria. So in this particular area, let us take one after another here to understand this much better. The very, very important concept it is to understand this much better that pre-reproductive age group. Okay, that means in this kind of population, who is going to be more? Young children are going to be more. So that's why it is said to be as growing population. Okay, so who is more here? Children. Let me write here. Capital A is more than B and then C. Likewise. Here in this particular area, we can say like this. All are equal. That's why what do you say this population? Stable population. Such kind of population can be called as stable population. Okay, in this population, A equal to B equal to C. Then declining, I think you can say here now. Who is more?
C.
C.
Yeah, old age. Okay. So I'll give some examples. You will understand much better. But let's take a look on this. A population at any given time is composed of individuals of different ages. If the age distribution, percent individuals of a given age or age group, we can say age distribution, is plotted for the population, the resulting structure is called age pyramid. We say generally all are age pyramids. For human population, the age pyramids generally show age distribution of the males and female, not individually we are showing. In a combined diagram we are showing. That means in this area, children may be male or female. Children may be male or female. So combined diagram we are making. The shape of the pyramids reflect the status of the population, whether it is growing or stable or declining. Let's talk about this. Just we'll understand that first of all, when we say this kind of population, the Japan people will come into the mind. Now Japan is there in declining population. Earlier times that after Hiroshima Nagasaki incident, the whole country is worked a lot here to increase their, improve their economy. That's why Japan is in top position. But nowadays Japan is getting fear that over a period of time they didn't observe, they didn't notice that all the people who worked from last 30, 40 years for the increasing the country economy now in retirement age, and the growth of children is very less in the that particular economy, that country. So that's why they are expecting what we can expect in future, that working people, these people are working people, b soon these are also going to join the C category, but from growing children are not there, very less here. Definitely that affects the country economy. That is the fear, we can say. You might have seen over in for about India so many times, so many politicians even says that growing country, that means here young India. This is a regular slogan you might have seen over, isn't it? So after 2001 census, it was identified that still even after 2001 census, it was identified that India has more pre-reproductive age group children. So that means young India. Why it is young India? It is called that because we have more children. So we can expect some future. We can expect some future here. These kind of things you can see everywhere. State-wise, even the people calculate. When after the separation, Andhra and Telangana might have 5 years back, the first CM of Andhra Pradesh has announced that our the old age people are more in this after the distribution, after the separation. They said old age people are more, and we are having a threat in future, we are going for declining. Requested the state population to grow for more number of children. That this statement is announced over. Why? Because having the fear of declining. Okay, so that means that much importance. That's why I'm giving this much number of example to understand. Okay, so along with this, that by after all the explanation, which one you feel better? What is you feel better to be present here? What kind of population to be a country for future growth, for economy of the future? Which is the better one you are going to feel? Pyramid shape, bell shape, urn shape, growing, stable, or declining?
Pyramid shape.
That's it. That's it. That we reach to the destination. That's all. Okay, that's what we have to understand. So, out of the 5 attributes of population: natality, mortality, immigration and emigration, and the age distribution, the fourth one, and finally we reach to the population size or population density. The population size or population density. Population size. The fifth attribute of the population is population size or we can call the population density. Okay, so let's talk about this population size and population density. Population size, more technically called population density. Density can be designated in the form of n here. Density can be designated in the form of n. That the number of individuals per unit area on a land or unit volume. For your understanding, I am saying here. Let's take a colony. In a colony, some independent houses are there. 5 in a row, 10 independent houses are there. Okay, so in each family, 4 people are living. So, what is the population of the colony? Calculating. Okay, 40. The same in the similar kind of place in another colony that 5 apartments are there, each apartment with 10 floors, which is nowadays happening in case of Hyderabad. That is because of place scarcity of the place. Okay, 10 flat floors are there. In each floor, some number that finally individual each apartment is going to be with 100 number of people. Okay, so this is a situation. Density you can understand much better here with this example. So in the population A, in the colony A, colony B, where you see the more density?
B.
In A or in B? Yeah, that means what is density? How does the density will be calculated? Number of individuals per unit area on land or unit volume in water. Okay, so number of individuals in this unit area are more. That's why we can say density of population is more. Number of individuals in this area are less. That means density of population is less. That we can say like that. Okay. Got it now. Next, about the population density. Population density need not necessarily be measured in numbers only. Means generally, the most appropriate measure of the population density is the total number. But in some cases, in either meaningful or difficult to determine. Means here, density means always not the number. For example, in an area, 200 Parthenium plants are living. Parthenium hysterophorus is a plant which is called as the weed plant. Heard about this particular plant, Parthenium hysterophorus? Parthenium. Parthenium is called weed plant. That means no way it will be useful. Useful plant. It is not the useful plant. We can say Parthenium. Okay, so Parthenium hysterophorus. We can say the plant, a weed plant. In an area, 200 Parthenium plants are there, and one banyan tree is present. One banyan tree. One banyan tree is present. So which population density is more? We can what we can say according to you. First of all, let me ask. Parthenium 200 or one banyan tree? So obviously we say that Parthenium density is more, but not like that. Not like that. Always we should not calculate in that manner. How much it will be useful for the ecosystem, that also. Banyan tree, the huge tree, which is going to accommodate large number of birds and a major producer and for the energy flow. That's why we can say here one banyan tree, the density is more. That means even one present, we vote for banyan tree, population density is more. So that what we are saying, in some cases it is either meaningless or difficult to determine, that number cannot be the measurement there. So for example, which we are showing here, imagine there are 200 Parthenium plants and only a single huge banyan tree covering a large part in a particular area. So these are Parthenium plants, or small plants, you can say here. These are the small plants, wheat plant. Someone brought here from outside and they grow, but no way they are useful for even grazing. Okay, so looking to them, we can say density of banyan tree is comparatively more in the community. So these also a kind of classification. You have to understand, if a statement is given that population density of banyan tree is low relative that of Parthenium, it amounts to understanding the enormous role of the banyan tree in the community. So in such cases, the percent cover or biomass is the more meaningful measure of the population size. Means here even all 200 can't make the full biomass, that can't be equal to the biomass. Importance and biomass makes that we can say one banyan tree is the having, with even number wise one is there, but we selected that banyan tree population density is more. Okay. Then next, some more attributes are there, that how to calculate the population. Human population calculation is very easy. That means here we have census for every 10 years. We do the population count 2001, 2011. Hoping so 2021 we do the calculation again. That for every 10 years in India we are doing the counting of population. But we can't announce like tigers, all tigers, you stay in the forest, we are coming for counting. Can we say like that? Do tigers listen? If we announce, if we put the posters in the forest, all tigers alert, we are coming for counting. So if they listen, so counting animals is going to be a tough time here. The time consuming even, to time consuming process here. So how the tigers will be counted over? Tiger counting. How we'll do the tiger counting? That very, very important. A regular question it is, the counting of tigers. How do we do? Pug marks. So that like our fingerprints, pug marks of every tiger is going to be different. So it's not one day it will over. That ecologist will wait patiently and will collect the pug marks of the tigers. If the same tiger will come again, so with same pug mark that remove, and over a period of time they'll count this particular about the tiger. So three aspects are there in population density. That one is banyan tree and Parthenium story, and the second is tiger, and that the third one, what you can say, the third one, what we said about the fish trap, that how does the fish population in a particular water. So how does the fishes can be calculated? Fish caught per trap. Fish caught per trap. In that way, fish caught per trap is good enough to measure the total population density in the lake. That we have some measurements, some mathematical equations are there that I shown to you yesterday. Fish caught per trap. That because only in 2001 that question is asked over. Just you remember like the fish caught per trap, but just general information I shown a special video for you. How do they calculate over? So these three are the aspects here: the population size and population density. Let me take a look back again here. Population density need not necessary be measured in numbers only. Generally, the most appropriate measure of the population density is the total number. But in some cases, it is either meaningless or difficult to determine. For example, imagine there are 200 Parthenium plants and only a single huge banyan tree covering a larger part of in a particular area. If a statement is given that the population density of banyan is low relative to that of Parthenium, it amounts to underestimating the enormous role of the banyan tree, enormous role of banyan tree in that community. So in such cases, percent cover or biomass, percent cover or biomass is a more meaningful measure of the population size. That is about this particular. Total number is again not an easily adaptable measure of the population. If the population is huge and counting is impossible and very time consuming. So for that, what we'll do here, sometimes for certain ecological investigations, there is no need to know the absolute population densities here, like how many paramecium are present in the lake. Exact number we don't want exactly. So relative densities serve the relative density, not exact number, relative densities serve the purpose equally well. So for that, that average density of the fish, how it will be calculated, relative density, exact number of the fish in the lake we can't estimate, but counting the number of fish caught per trap is a good enough to measure its total population density in the lake. Okay, so we mostly estimate the population sizes indirectly without actually counting them or saying them. Like tiger counting is not possible in general way. So that's why that the tiger census in our national parks, tiger reserves, how do they count? Is often based on the pug marks and fecal pellets. Size of the population provides a lot of information on the status of the species in the habitat. In the investigation of certain ecological processes in a population, change in population size can be taken as an important parameter. After counting tiger, if they are reducing, what we'll say, they are in endangered zone, their number is decreasing, likewise, that we can see. Okay, then in nature, finally, in nature, population size wise, if you talk about, it could be as low as Siberian crane, which are below 10 in the Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary. In Bharatpur wetlands, Keladiyo-Gana National Park is accommodating the Siberian birds. Less than 10, we can say Siberian crane, less than 10. Or if you want maximum number, you go to the lake. In the lake, you can see Chlamydomonas in the lake. Maybe in the millions in the Chlamydomonas. So minimum 10 of Siberian crane to max millions of Chlamydomonas, small sized organism, Chlamydomonas, Euglena. These kind of things will be millions in a small pond even. Okay, so this is a minimum and this is the maximum, we can say here. This is all about the population attributes, we can say. Population attributes and the discussion which we made here. Natality and mortality, immigration and emigration, sex ratio, age distribution, and population density.